Alex Strangelove is largely autobiographical. It kind of charts my own personal story of sexual confusion in my teens and into my 20s, but kind of condensed into one kid's senior year of high school. You know, I came out incrementally. I had all those feelings kind of generating in me when I was in middle school and high school. I came out as bisexual, and sort of that was my identity for years, kind of well into my 20s, honestly. So I would date women, and I would date guys, and eventually I just did the calculus and was like, okay, you're gay, that's what you are. And you know, once I sort of looked myself in the mirror and said that, it was sort of like these sort of clouds lifted, and I was able to look back at my journey and say, wow, what a roller coaster. I'm sort of fascinated by that, you know, swervy path I took. And I just thought, how could I tell this story? And I thought, boy, the most fun way would be to tell it as kind of a classic high school sex comedy.
I think this movie is reclaiming a storyline that we've seen before, but for LGBT audiences in a way that hasn't been done. Like, I think it's so important to have high school movies that represent a lot of different stories.
I think it raises more questions than it does give you answers. That's one of the things that was the most interesting to me when I read the script for the first time. Was I didn't know how it was going to end, and I didn't know how Alex was going to feel about himself or his sexuality at the end of the film.
My hope is to continue to make films with queer characters in them that aren't necessarily identified as only queer films. I don't reject that identity, I embrace it, but I would like to include everybody. I'm all about inclusion. I tell a young person, it is okay to be confused. It's okay to not be sure. There's many different shades and phases. I wouldn't worry about labels, but I would also be true to your feelings. I wouldn't try to hold them back, because that's only gonna stress you out. Find people you trust to talk to about it, and put yourself out there.
I think as we get older, we don't remember necessarily people, but we remember how they made us feel. And I think we know when we're around people that make us feel good. And so taking the time to ask yourself if the people around you are treating you right, and if not, find a new group of people.
I hope that kids who watch Alex Strangelove will see themselves reflected in the movie. The struggle is legitimate and real, but also worth it to sort of be your authentic self, but that it's also okay to be confused at the beginning, to not know, to kind of puzzle through it. And that's part of being a teenager. I also want them to know that if their journey ends with them identifying on some realm of the spectrum of LGBTQ, that's okay. You know, that you can have a pretty beautiful life.
I'm Antonio.
I'm Daniel.
And it gets better.